politicians precisely where we think they should represent us on this issue. Thank you, Gerard.
I'm rather humbled to be asked to speak. Thank you very much. A few years ago, our eldest daughter was in the car,
Go see the lady. Go.
and she asked a question which you kind of brace yourself for as a father. Where do we come from? And I said, well, she said, what's the difference between a man and a woman? And I said, well, men can be fathers and women can be mothers. And at that point, she then anxiously said, and be married. And I said, yes. And it sort of brought home to me that, for a child, the significance, the psychological significance of their parents being married is quite high, and it provides them with that security, even on a natural level. And I think that drove home a very important lesson to me at the time. I mean, I was quite conscious of the issues as we're talking of now, but that drove home how important it is for a child. And that's what we've got legislated in law, and that's what we've got to defend, because we can't ever take this for granted, because just as we stand here and we try to fight it, it can be taken away from us, it can be removed, it can be gone. What we see happening firstly in New Zealand was that Family First had its charitable status stripped off it. This is not the political party, it's more of a family advocacy group, because their teaching on marriage after the law changed in New Zealand had quite no social purpose, had no social significance. So if we don't, then we'll have all of the, if we lose this, and then we have all of the apparatus of bureaucracy and society and unspoken pressures and so forth placed on marriage to ensure that it is actually changed and obliterated. You can't redefine marriage without actually taking it down and then replacing it with something else. It's not a question of elevating all to the same level, because that's not possible. Because the way to change the law is in fact to attack the definition. So if you attack the definition, you actually have to withdraw what currently exists and replace it with something completely different. So in other words, what is there now, which is the union of a man and a woman to the exclusion of all others for life, actually becomes genderless. So it becomes, so there's no significance there for a husband, there's no significance there for a wife, it's all gone. It has to be replaced by something else that is hostile to it. And if you want to find that out, then you start challenging it. You start, for example, you're in a small business, you're making cakes, you're providing services for weddings and so forth. Well, you try at that time to then say, no, I stand on principle, and I say that that's wrong, and I can't provide, for example, if two women say we want to come in and we want to have a marriage. No, I don't want to do that. What you'll find then is you'll find that all the anti-discrimination laws will come down on you, and there'll be people who'll be quite willing to make an example of you. And that's just not in that area, but that'll be in other areas as well too. I think that the battle is crucial. The battle is not something that people can get carried away on a series of passions about. It must be a sober, clear-eyed stance that we take, and that we as Australians show the rest of the world that we have it right, and we will keep fighting for that right. And there's one study that I read that came out, I was on the 1st of March this year, and it was a study that was submitted to the UK inquiry, and it happens what happens to marriage after these laws are passed. I can give you more details if you speak to me afterwards, because it is on the internet, and I believe it must be more widely known. But all the countries that have legislated for this, what happens is there's a surge, first of all, because a lot of same-sex pairs come up and say, well, we'll take advantage of these marriage laws that have been changed. So there's a surge. But then what happens is there's a steep decline. There's a sharp drop-off in the marriage rates overall, because when you stand back and look at it, well, what is the point? The point is gone. So the point of the purpose of marriage in terms of its pro-child focus no longer exists. It's gone. So therefore people pick that up and they say, well, what's the point? So the evidence is there. I understand that in the New South Wales inquiry there was a family voice who I know handed this report up to the Greens member on the Parliamentary Legislative Council Committee, and that was the last we ever heard of it. Because it had come out just on the day that I think the submissions had closed, but nevertheless it was handed to them. There's no evidence of that report in the actual Legislative Council report in the Parliament of New South Wales. So it's been conveniently suppressed. So it's that kind of information that we have to fight against to actually promote. The other thing is we should make a point of is that, as strange as you might think, but every child deserves a mother and a father. That includes those people who grow up and find themselves having same-sex attractions. I mean, they have just as right to a mother and a father as everybody else does, and we're fighting for their rights as well, even though they may not seem to see it that way, but that's the truth of the matter. So we're fighting for everybody's rights, and we have to continue to fight, because if we don't stand here, if we don't stand up, then others will stand in our place saying the opposite. It'll be our voices that'll be silenced, and if our voices are silenced and there's no one to stand up for it, then it'll make it very easy. If we don't fight, we lose. That's the lesson that we've got to take away from the day. And I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jared. Now, just one final thing. I found